waiting for them to connect up. YouTube's connected. Okay. Facebook is connected. So here we go.
Good afternoon, Kansas City. It is so good to see you again on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. I missed you guys last week. I guess I'm about to tell my age, but I had the great pleasure of attending my 30-year high school. It's hard to say, but my 30-year high school graduation, our reunion, got together with a few of my friends and ended up going home down south last weekend. So we missed the show on the previous Sunday, but I had a great time, and I appreciate all of you guys for emailing me about the conversation that we had a few weeks ago and just checking up and seeing how everything was going. It kind of makes me feel really good to know that you guys miss me when I'm not here. But as always, coming back to Kansas City, we're never at a loss for, I guess, certain things happening in the city. Some good, some bad, but hey, that's life. So again, along with that, we are all impacted by the culture, whether it's from politics to government, movies, entertainment. Our culture impacts every part of our lives. And this is where we talk about it, right here on KUAW Radio, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, with me, Dr. Karasay, on Up Close and Cultural with Dr. Karasay. Let's take a moment, you guys, and wherever you are watching us, we are across all social media platforms. That is KUAW Radio, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. You can see us on KUAW.org. You can find us at KUAW Radio on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and the TuneIn app. Also, if you look at the bottom of the screen, there is the local 816 number where you can dial in to the radio and ask any questions. And as always, you can email the radio station and contact us with any questions or information that you may have or things that you might want to see on the show. And if you are on or joining us for the first time, welcome. And those of you who are loyal listeners and followers, welcome back. Take a moment to like, comment, share the video, and subscribe. It helps us to move throughout the algorithm, and it pushes all of the content forward. And that is just so important because it matters to have Black media. It matters because there is no one who can tell our stories better than we can, give the perspective better than we can, and who will give the care and the dedication and tell it truthfully and honestly, and only from our own lens of our own culture where we'll be able to get our message out there and when we can fully appreciate it. So again, KUAW Radio, take a minute to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Today, I do have a special guest with me today. And before I let him introduce himself, this is actually an issue that we've been talking about for a while here in Kansas City. And it has been the issue of over-policing and just the concept of policing, period, and how it relates to our community. And I will go ahead and just put the disclaimer out. Everything that is said today on this program is not necessarily the views of KUAW Radio or any of its affiliates. It is our own personal views. And as always, when I do talk about Our system of policing, understand that it is not personal against any police officers. We recognize that there are many police officers who sacrifice their lives and their well-being and their families every day, every second of the day, to go out and protect the community. Those people we have the utmost respect for. We appreciate and we dedicate every resource to them and every support that we can. It's the other ones that we have a problem with. And again, like my dad always says, there's always the hit dog that squeals the loudest. So again, if it's not pertaining to you or if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Also, things that are going to be said today are alleged. No one has appeared in court behind this matter. And of course, it is said in our justice system that you are innocent until proven guilty. So again, everything that is said today is alleged. And it is said in the context of what is remembered today at this moment, knowing that things can change and everything could not possibly be covered in just the 30 to 45 minutes that are in this program. So we definitely know that you cannot hold a person to what is being said in a specific amount of time, because we have only a certain amount of time to get the important information out there. And just know that certain facts and other information may be left out simply because of time restraints. And that is it, and that is all. So again, when it comes to over-policing, definitely, you guys know the organizations that I stand firm with and my own personal beliefs. I definitely believe in community policing and us engaging in our communities ourselves. And this is a big reason why. Again, the history and the systems of policing that I have gone over many times and I've talked about before, it has to change. And we have seen over and over and over, many times over, why it has to change. We just recently came out of incidences here where, you know, God bless Rap Y'all. He is out of the hospital and with his family, and that he is surviving and he is doing better than what his perpetrator wanted him to do. And we definitely thank God for that. That is how that played out, is a system of policing that absolutely needed to change, because there are things that transpired through that situation that we don't see happen in our community. We know that how that individual or his perpetrator was arrested and how he was let go, along with the system of bail, which is also something that we have covered and something that we are trying to get implemented on both sides of the border, is changing the system of bail or bail refund, bail reform, however you want to term it. That's a big reason why we have the incident that happened with Jordan Neely, and how we have people in the community who feel privileged enough to step in and act as police officers. And that in and of itself is dangerous, because, again, back to that term of over-policing. There are things that the police just should not do. There are things that the police are charged to do that they should not do. There are things that the police are charged to do that they are not qualified to do. There are things that the police are charged to do that they cannot handle, be it mentally or physically, and that they have been held accountable for in other situations, but there is not any further accountability behind that. Not in every state. Fortunately, and talking about the state of Kansas, which is where the incident occurred with my guest today, there are organizations that do, or is one main organization that does monitor the activity of police. And we will put that information out. I mean, and that's public knowledge, but we'll get to that as well. And also, I know you guys, if you remember, knowing that myself and members of the Defender, we are also working on a platform of our own, because as you know, we just don't wait for the powers that be, as they are called, to do these things for us. We have been calling for legislation and for rules or ordinances, whatever the case may be, to come about where, or that will actually list and make public knowledge of and have easy access to the discretions or the illegal activities or the write-ups, whatever you may call it, of those police officers who just clearly don't need to be on the force anymore, or who have committed acts that are questionable and that the community certainly needs to know about. Now, whatever that looks like within the police force, then of course there has to be a conversation about where they need to go or where they need to be, because we recognize that everything is not career ending. However, certain things are. Certain things are not only career ending, but they should be freedom ending as far as I'm concerned. And especially when it comes to someone losing their life, and also when it comes to you overstepping your boundaries and the job description that you have, where it hurts or harms someone physically. Now that I understand that may be on a case-by-case basis, but today, again, with everything being alleged, and I am saying this as I believe it, these are my opinions and my views, and I stand on them. With the things and the information that I have as of today, I certainly believe that this is one of those instances. And with that being said, without going into too detail right now, also addressing one other issue when we talked about policing. The point being is that these things happen all across the country. And again, we talk about how officers are often called out to all different types of emergencies. Sometimes there are mental health emergencies where there need to be mental health clinicians who are there, such as myself, to provide support, or who should just be there, period, to handle the situation. Definitely the police can be there as a backup. And even in the police defense, even speaking to the police officers that I know, many of them don't want to be in that position and would prefer for a mental health clinician to handle it because they simply are not qualified. Yes, they will be there to handle the issues that they are qualified to handle, but it's very unfair to ask someone to act in a capacity in which they are not trained to do so. And then they are asked to be held accountable for whatever happens beyond that. And that in and of itself is really unfair to the police officers to handle those things. And then when you also have issues such as simple as a traffic stop, people should not be dying because they have a broken tail light. Our brothers and sisters should not be afraid that they are going to lose their life because they have run out of gas on the side of a road, and the police or highway patrol or whatever it is in your city or state who are charged with coming to help you are going to first run your background before they offer any kind of aid or help and see anything about you before they render that aid or help. When all you need is gas. And it ends up being a whole thing that you don't even make it home to work, or make it home or make it to work. And that in and of itself needs to change. And so coming back to our guest today, there was an issue that happened, and I'm just going to call it an issue right now. I have a few choice words for it, but we're on the radio. We're a family friendly program, so we watch our language around here. And I am, I'm smiling about it, bringing only levity to the situation because I it's not easy. It is not easy going through a situation such as the one that my guest today went through. And it is one thing to see it on TV. It is one thing to constantly see it on TV and to be at home or be behind a screen or see it on social media being played over and over again, whether you shared the video or seen it on other platforms, and then get angry about it because you've seen it. And it's okay to get upset about something and want to do something about it. We understand that passion. We want that passion because we want you to get involved with how to make change. But it's another thing to actually be that person. It's another thing to be that person who has gone through such a traumatic event at the hands of someone, again, in the community who is charged with serving and protecting our best interests. But it turns out that it is that very person who has violated that trust and that best interest. And so with that being said, I will let my guest introduce himself, and we will get into what occurred just a few days ago. And I would like to welcome you, and I will let you go ahead and introduce yourself, and I will let you start to kind of tell what happened. And of course, I will, ask questions and give you some feedback on some things, but I want you to be able to tell your story the way you want us to hear it before someone else does it for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my name is Dayton Borisouth. And the night the incident occurred, I had just went to Walmart to help my uncle jumpstart his car, and it was taking a minute. So I was like, I'm gonna go in and grab me some food, and I bought a pizza for $5. And as I'm walking past this officer, I notice he's mean mugging me. So I look down, and then I look back up at him, and he's still mean mugging me. And I walked past him, and he says, "Got your receipt?" And I said, "Yes." And I kept walking. And then I see in the reflections of the Walmart glass doors, the officers at almost a full sprint chasing me. And then I just shake my head no and say, "You don't have the right to chase me or detain me. I haven't committed a crime. I bought what I'm walking out of the store with." And then he cornered me up, pinned me by the claw machine in the brick wall, and was asking if I had stolen it. And I was like, "No, the receipt's in my pocket. I'm not obligated to show you." And he was like, "Okay, put your hands behind your back," and like trying to handcuff me. And I was like, "You don't have the right to detain me. I haven't committed a crime." And then he said, "Do I need to call reinforcements?" And I said, "Yes, please, so that they'll know that I'm right." And then that's where he continued to wrestle me to the floor and roll around with me for a little bit of time. And then the other officers showed up, and it really hurt. When the other officers showed up, I thought that there was like a sign of hope. Like I seen the other officer, and I said, and you can see this in the video, I said, "Can you tell him to read this receipt?" Because I had been telling him to read it, saying, "Here's the receipt, here's the receipt," and he was ignoring me. And then I thought that officer was going to be there to help me, and he had jumped on to me as well and put his knee on my neck and threatened to break my nose if I didn't put my hands behind my back. And when I did put my hands behind my back after he said that, I had given up right there and stopped resisting completely. And that's where I found out some officers, after you stop resisting, continue to say, stop resisting, even after you do. And I don't know if that's for the video or what, but that it was hard going through that.
Wow. So first, I am certainly sorry that that happened to you. There's a lot to unpack there. First, how are you doing? I see that you have a brace on your arm, and I know that I don't want you to go, specific into your injuries or anything like that, because I know that has been an ordeal, and I know that this is just the very beginning of it. And I certainly don't want to, impede on anything that any investigations or anything like that. So I don't want you to go into, very specifics about it. But it's clear in the video that you were hurt. And
Yeah.
I know that the video has been shared a lot. I know it's on my Facebook as well as my TikTok, and I believe it's on your TikTok as well. Okay, we'll get your social media information right after this. But we do see that you have the brace on, and clearly that has come from a hospital. So you did go for treatment after the incident. You were hurt to the point to where you had to seek medical attention.
Yeah, the night of, I didn't go because ambulances are expensive and I don't got all the money to be paying that. And my dad's always told me as a kid, if we're not dying or bleeding out, we don't go to the hospital because we don't have enough money to afford it. And the next morning, I woke up Friday morning and for work, and I tried to push myself up off the bed, and my right arm just like I collapsed because it couldn't hold the weight of my body. And it's nothing like major serious in my wrist, but it's got like a click now. If I do this with my other hand, it just pops every time I do it.
Right. All right. Well, I'm sure that even just watching the video, that's one thing about trauma and injuries. It was a lot. It's like you were laying on that floor and fighting for your life, because we've seen that scenario too many times before. It was just a few years ago where we were out in the street protesting with what happened with our brother George Floyd and the knee in his back. And here we are seeing you like that as well. I know it terrified me seeing that. So I can only imagine the adrenaline that was pumping in your body and the stress and everything that was released, and all of your flight or fight senses were just going off everywhere. So I can understand a lot of the injuries or the trauma and the pain not hitting you until the next day. That's common. It happens a lot. It hits you hard and it hits you fast. But I'm glad that you were able to get to the hospital and seek care. I saw them twisting your arm. I saw your head hitting the floor. I'm sure you have a whole host of injuries. But let's go back. You said that this occurred at Walmart. Which Walmart were you at?
It was the Walmart at the Legends in Village West off of Parallel.
Okay, all right. So the Walmart out at the Legends off of Parallel Parkway. Okay, and so just to recap, you said that you had gone into the store and you bought a pizza, and leaving, the officer, he asked if you paid for it, and you confirmed that you did pay for it, and then you proceeded to leave. Now, I know that everyone is familiar with the greeters who are at Walmart. They are there at every Walmart that you enter. And so I even reached out to Walmart. I will say that I reached out to Walmart and to their PR department, their media department, with a whole list of questions because I wanted, and I do want, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some more after this. I want to know what the policy is behind all of this. And I just found out some interesting information. That being that asking for a receipt by the employees at Walmart is not even a part of their job description. What it says about and this is public information, people can look it up. And this is current as of 2023. And so what I found out is that it's not even a part of their job description. The door greeters in the handbook, it says that they have a myriad of duties. They can do anything from janitorial duties to stocking, we're just in the front, and just a plethora of duties, okay? But I got specific with the people that I did get a chance to talk to, even though I don't have a formal statement. But to even ask for the receipt, it's not even a part of their job. I learned that came about in trying to get a handle on shoplifting. And then even when that happens, when there is a suspicion of shoplifting, that Walmart, that they are not supposed to accost you, definitely the way that it happened with you, that's not supposed to happen, okay? What they are supposed to do is call the police. And then they are, well, of course, there's supposed to be a conversation, just as you asked about what the issue was. They're supposed to tell you that they suspect you of shoplifting. And it would have been as simple as just looking at your receipt, which you repeatedly vocalized and verbalized throughout this entire ordeal that the receipt was in your pocket. And many times you obliged and said that you wanted to give it to him in the middle of him just assaulting you. And all of that is completely out of protocol with Walmart's policy. So getting back to the policy, they can detain you and then look to see, because as we know, they have a sophisticated security system. So if they suspected you of shoplifting or stealing or whatever, they could have looked at the camera. They can roll back the camera to specific times, specific dates, zoom in on you and see everything. And it's not like that would have been a big or huge ordeal. You bought a pizza, okay, just moments before. And then not only that, if anyone watches the whole video, and thank God to the two young ladies who were there that saw the whole thing. There are ladies there going, I was standing right next to him. He paid for it. Stop it. Don't do that. And he continued to assault me. And so I went through the policy, and I'm being specific about the policy. And did you know that that was the policy of Walmart, that they aren't supposed to? Okay. So I brought that up because the Walmart, and the handbook is available in all of the break rooms, right? So this isn't anything that is withheld from them. And I say that because there's something very interesting about this officer. And there's a reason why he probably doesn't know what the Walmart employee handbook says about accosting customers, or what to do when a customer is suspected of shoplifting, which you were not doing. But I will let you, because all Walmart employees, keyword, know what the policy is. So can you give us some information that you shared with me, we talked about on yesterday, concerning this police officer and his duties at Walmart? Did you freeze? I think that I lost him. I think we're having some connection issues. you guys. I apologize for that. It is, it's raining here in the Kansas City area, but hopefully we can get him back on. Oh, okay, there you are. I was just telling everyone.
Sorry, my phone got hot.
Okay. Yeah, that was telling them about the weather here too, but go ahead. We were talking about some of the information that we had found out about the officer involved in the incident and why he may not be familiar with Walmart employee policy.
Are you guys able to see me?
Yes, I can see you and hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was your question again?
The officer, do we have his name? Are we using his, well, we don't have to use his name. We don't have to use his name. So,
Okay.
the officer that, and I'll say the word assaulted you, the officer involved in the incident, there is a reason why he may be unfamiliar. And again, let me rephrase that. I don't know that this man does not know Walmart's policy, but let's assume why he wouldn't know Walmart's policy. We'll put it like that. And I will let you elaborate on that. As an employee, as a Walmart employee, why Walmart employees know about the policy, but this particular officer wouldn't?
Because he doesn't work there.
Interesting. So going back and replaying this again, he does not work for Walmart.
Nope.
So how did this happen? How is it that you can go into an establishment, spend your hard-earned money, leave or attempt to leave, and then have someone who is not employed there to question you about what you're doing there, and then again, someone who does not work there asks you for a receipt or to prove that you purchased the items from there, and then also this very same person who does not work there can run and chase you and then assault you. How did this happen?
I have the same question, but I was told that the lady that was supposed to be checking the receipts or greeting is she had to use the restroom, and I guess she asked the off-duty officer to cover her spot.
Okay.
And the reason I know he was off duty is because he told me whenever he had me pinned up to the claw machine that he was off duty. So that just had me wondering if he had been frustrated that he had to cover somebody's position or work while he wasn't supposed to be working.
Okay. So, because that's interesting, because another thing that I found out in speaking with Walmart management, again, they have not given a formal statement. This is in speaking with Walmart management and seeing their handbook. Walmart does not even allow their own employees to work when they're off the clock. They are not even allowed to speak to other employees while they are working if they are off the clock. So again, for someone who does not even work there, then to have, well, going back to someone who does not work there, that's enough right there for me. I'll get into the other part in a second. How is it that the door greeter who just goes to take a restroom break, how is it that she can ask an off-duty police officer who does not work for Walmart to do her job?
Yeah.
And why did he say yes?
I wouldn't even know.
Okay, so how did he get to tell you that he was an off-duty police officer in the middle of him pinning you against the wall? Because I saw you guys are over, if you watch the video, you're over by that machine, that claw machine that grabs the stuffed toys. how did that conversation start? How does he start attacking you and then saying, I'm off duty police officer?
It was random. He just said I'm off duty, and it's like it wasn't even a part of what we was talking about. He just said I'm off duty. Like we was talking about the receipt. I told him, I said, I have the receipt. It's in my pocket. I'm just not obligated to show you. And he had told me he's off duty, and if he needed to call reinforcements. And I was like, yes, please.
Oh, wow. So even before he was already in the middle of assaulting and attacking you against the wall. So even
Yeah.
before he took you down to the ground, he had the opportunity to just let you go, or even to put his hand in your pocket and allow you to show the receipt. And then even if you had a decline, he still had the opportunity to ask someone to roll the footage to validate whatever he said. Again, perhaps that would have occurred if he worked for Walmart.
Yeah.
So this is just so baffling. This is not an incident where we have someone who is actually an employee of Walmart who has done this to you. We have a random police officer. And I don't care who this door greeter is. I don't know if that is just something that they have between the two of them. Are they related or anything of like that? I don't understand. And I sent an email trying to get a statement from the KCKPD because I am seriously trying to understand that even if with him not being a paid or an employee of Walmart or any of his contractors, because I do know that they hire security companies, but they patrol the parking lot. They aren't in the stores. But aside from that, they don't allow, how can KCK PD just start policing Walmart's customers? I want to know where that's written. And is that a Walmart thing? Do they do that at Target? Do they do that at Price Chopper? Do they do that at all the stores in the Legends? I mean, how have they given you, did the police give you any explanation as to how and why, or what justified this from him not being a Walmart employee? Has anyone at KCKPD talked to you about this?
I asked them when they was letting me out of the handcuffs and out of the police car, and he said, "You're free to go. We're gonna unhandcuff you because you didn't steal the pizza. We seen it on the footage." And he was like, "But I will be writing you a ticket." And I was like, a ticket for what? And I don't know for sure. I believe he said not listening to an officer's remands. And the thing that confused me is if I'm walking down the street on the sidewalk in public and an officer walks up behind me and says, "Put your hands behind your back," I shouldn't have to if I haven't committed a crime. I'm just walking in public. So that's confusing to me how I still ended up with a ticket, even though they had to let me go.
Right, right. That is true. That is true, and a very important point, because even when we are on the street and a police officer, which one needs to be on duty? But if he, and of course there are other allowances if there's a crime being committed, but if you are walking down the street, an officer still has to say some, they ask you for your ID or anything like that, you still have the right to ask them, are you being detained and why are they detaining you? There's, a whole list of things. So even with that being said, none of that is in relation at all to what happened in Walmart because this man didn't even work there. He did not work there. So has anyone from Walmart or the Wal-Mart Corporation or the Walton family or whoever, has anyone reached out to you about this?
No, I've actually called and tried to get video footage of that night, and they told me no managers are working, and they can't tell me when another manager would work again because they don't know their schedule.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Well, it wouldn't be hard to get that information. A subpoena would get that information, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to release it. Well, before that happens, they'll release it when they're ready to release it. But of course, there are things that you can do before that, and we could talk about that later, of course, after the show. This is just, I know so much more has happened, and we could talk about this for a while, but I am certainly happy that you are alive and not disregarding any of your injuries, because I do know that mentally and physically that this was quite an ordeal for you. And I am just so happy. I'm so happy that you are here to tell your story, because so many times our brothers just aren't able to. So I want you to just, of course, definitely be safe, because I know that this is going to be going forward. This is going to be a lot. Dealing with police departments and with information like this, there are going to be a lot of twists and turns to it. And I'm glad that you have the support of your family. And I know that this was a very stressful ordeal for not only you, but your wife had to come and witness, and she's with child right now. And she had to come and witness this happening with you. And that is not good for her or the baby. So it's not only you, who's been affected by this. I have another question. The officers, were there two other? Well, or were there three other? I can't remember from the video.
Total.
Okay. So did they know that he was an off-duty police officer?
I don't know.
Because I am just wondering, how is it that they wrote you a ticket for an officer who didn't work there? I just don't understand that. So what happened to the officer that assaulted you after the incident? We saw you being taken out of the door. What happened after that with that officer?
You can actually see in the video, a girl that was recording pointed out my receipt and said, "That's his receipt right there." She picked it up. The officer who started the incident took it from her, walked over into the corner where he had me pinned up, and started reading it by himself. I think that's where he realized this dude didn't do anything. And then he ended up, after that, leaving on a stretcher, which confuses me because he's twice my size. I did not swing at him. I did not cut him, jab him, punch him. I did not hurt him. All the rolling around and throwing was him. So, I mean, he's twice my size. It is just confusing to me how he ended up leaving on a stretcher that night when I didn't even go to the ER until the next morning.
I saw that. I saw, and I was so hoping that someone would have picked that receipt up, because I didn't want something to happen to it, you know. But I did see him pick it up and read it. And then I believe he handed it off to another officer who actually went and spoke to the young ladies who actually saw the entire incident. So that is on the video as well. I'll post links to where people can go and watch the video because I want people to call. I want people to make complaints because our families shop there, our children shop there, our loved ones are in and out that store every day. And if these things happen to you, they can happen to all of us. And then finding out that it's not even Walmart's policy for it to happen in the first place, then it goes and happens with someone who does not even work in Walmart. That's very concerning and disturbing because now do we now have to be worried about being attacked in Walmart by off-duty police officers? Is that the message that Walmart is now putting out to us now, that we are not even safe in Walmart because at any point your employee can decide that they want an off-duty police officer or any police officer at all who has no affiliation or who does not work there to just have free reign to do whatever they want to do to the customers who are there. And I hope that that is not the case. So again, Mr. Borisouth, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I know you have a lot going on now and going forward, and we will certainly be working with you to make sure that justice is served in your case and making sure that we get as many answers for you as possible. Can you let our audience and the community know where they can find the video, or if someone wants to reach you? I don't know, because I know you have your injuries. Has anyone set up a GoFundMe or anything like that where they can reach out to you and help you and your family?
I'm fine on a GoFundMe. I don't need nobody's money. But if anybody wants to reach me, they can contact me through my Facebook, Dayton Lee, Lee, or through my phone number, 816-708-9026.
Okay. And I will text me your Facebook, and then I will post everything to our social media platforms. Do you have any last words or any parting words that you want to say to our audience before I let you go?
Just be safe, be careful where you go and what you do, because I was just going to get my family dinner, and I that caught me off guard.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, and I hope that you'll enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will do what we can to support you and your family as you go through this. And we're here. Again, we hate that it happened to you, but but definitely we are happy that you are here to tell your story. So again, thank you. And also, I hope that your wife and your baby and the rest of your family are doing well also. So thank you for joining us, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today on Up Close and Culture with Dr. Parasay. It has been, that was a story, and it is one that unfortunately we have to keep hearing over and over and over again. Again, if you want to support Mr. Borisouth, I will be linking his information in the description box across all of the social media platforms. And I want you to give support and love and everything to this family as they go forward through this ordeal. Feel free to contact us here at the station as well if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns. And until then, I will see you on the third Sunday. So be well.